Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are in the world. May the 4th be with you. So today we'll do May the 4th be with you practice. It might be nice to do a little chest opener because it's always good right now. For me, it's towards the end of the day. And you can, make it higher or lower depending on either what kind of blanket you have, what kind of towel, what kind of I'm sure people have done like 2 blocks like this as well, where you put the blocks here and lay down. I kind of like blankets or something that has a bit of softness, but soft but firm. So I'm going to put this here and then come down to put it like on the bottom of my shoulder blades, and then place my arms wide. And then you can keep the feet on the mat so the feet parallel, knees bent, if that feels better. Or you can extend the legs long, and then the abdominals are just softening towards the floor. And if I have my legs long, I like to press into the feet. But you can also just let the legs go into Shavasana. And you can also try the different feet positions. So you can start, of course, with the knees bent, just letting everything fold into the thigh sockets here. Feel that little bit of a back bend, a little bit of chest opener. And then you can extend one leg and then the other and press into those heels and feel how the legs are working and the abdominals work here to create this back bend. And then if you don't want to work that hard, you can just soften the legs. It's actually nice to go through those 3 ways of doing it just to let the body sink into it. And then see if you can feel the breath come up from the belly up through the rib cage into the upper chest. And get to the top of the breath, take a little pause, and then exhale from the top of the rib cage down into the abdominal. And take a little pause when you get there. And then just do a few rounds like that. Really widening through your arms here, through the collarbone area. And then slowly bring your feet up and see if you can bring the feet together and the knees wide for a little bit of a hip opener. And of course you can have your knees up quite high if that feels all right. Or you can let gravity open from the thigh sockets. It's not about pressing the knees down or the inner knees down, because you want the opening to come from the hips. And when you're in this position, perhaps you can feel more of the breath in the back ribs. And then you can just slowly bring the knees up, and you can roll to the side and take whatever you've had under your chest, put it off to the side, coming back to lying on your back, and place the palms down next to your hips. And just for a minute, just notice how your whole torso is when you breathe. Can you feel the breath moving more freely through your rib cage and upper chest? And then you can keep palms down next to you, or you can put them under your head, and we'll start to wake up the abdominals. Inhale, pressing the feet up to the ceiling. Exhale, bending the knees, feet on the floor. Inhale, extend up. Exhale, extend down. You can go quickly if that feels right, or you can slow it way down. Just do what feels right to you. If you'd like to add the arms overhead, you can do that. Creates a little more intensity. And then do 2 more. And release the legs and the arms, and keep the feet on the floor, knees bent, palms down next to you. And then again, you can choose to put the hands under the head or overhead or whatever works for you. And inhale the knees to the chest. Extend the heels up. Open the legs. And then bring the legs down. You can hover them, or you can do them halfway if that feels better. Then bring them together and inhale, come up. So when you exhale, you open the legs, you're bringing them down to hover on the floor, then you're inhaling them straight up. And you can take little pauses at the top if that helps, or you can go straight into it. And then do 1 more in this direction. And then reverse the pose. So you lift the legs up and then they come together at the top. You bring the legs straight down, open them wide, and then inhale them up, bring them together. Exhale long, open wide, inhale up. And you can always, do less movement. It can be just halfway down if that feels better for you. And then do 1 more this direction. Oh, I think, yeah, that's right. I was thinking I went back and did the first one. And then bend the knees, place the feet on the floor, and here you can just lift the heels, press into the heels, shake out the abdominals, and then come over to your side, coming up to sitting. Now it's really useful because this works quite well when you're coming up from Shavasana. You're coming up a little bit with the curved spine, and you press the tail down and then roll up the spine. And that's going to bring everything up without rushing it or without going into some little bit of a stress point in the body. And we'll come into all fours and do a little bit of cat tilt and dog tilt. That's always nice to do after doing abdominal work. So you can roll your spine into cat. And inhale into dog tilt. And roll the spine into cat. Inhale into dog. Rolling into cat. Inhale to dog. Rolling into cat. Inhale to dog. And now you can bring the right knee towards the forehead and then swing it long. Should probably move up a little bit. Make sure you have enough space. And swing it long. So you're just kind of folding everything in and then extending it long and folding everything in and extend it long. So you're not really muscling this action, you're just allowing the spine movement to help swing that leg in and then swing it out, and then bring that knee down and come to the other side. So swinging the left leg in, swinging it long, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, and then bring that knee down and come into big toes together, knees wide. You can walk those hands quite forward so you can really press through those sit bones to find that length. Coming into Adho Mukha Virasana, forward facing hero pose. When you press your arms, you can really lift the triceps in, finding that length through the arms and through the side body. That really helps the side body. And then inhale, come up to all fours, and then tuck your toes under and come into a downward facing dog. And you can bend the knees a little bit to stretch out the backs of the legs if that works for you. And then have a few breaths with the legs straight. And then coming down to, I didn't invite you, big toes together, knees wide. You are a cookie cat. And then inhale again, coming up. Come back into, tucking the toes into a downward facing dog. And this time we're going to bring the right leg up into three-legged dog. Really press through the top heel. Don't be rolling the hips. Try to keep the hips level. Bring that foot down. Stabilize again, and then inhale the left leg up. then bring that foot down, and then come down to big toes together, knees wide. Couple of breaths there. And then inhale, coming up. I kept thinking I should teach this in fours, right? Everything should be in fours because it's may the fourth be with you, but I'm not sure I can do that. And then tuck the toes under again, coming up into downward dog. And this time you're going to take the right leg up into three-legged dog. Then you're going to bend the knee in and bring it between your hands and leave that back foot long. So really press into the front foot and extend through the back leg and bring the hands up into lunge warrior pose. And then if you feel like bringing the arms up, you can. And then slowly coming down with the hands. Take that right leg long, bring it back up into three-legged dog and back down. And you can always take breaks in Adho Mukha Virasana if it's hard to stay too long in downward dog. And then inhale that left leg up, bend through the knee, bring the foot between the hands, really extend that back leg, and then coming up into lunge warrior. And then you can bring those arms up. And then hands down, bring the left leg up and come into downward dog, or you can take a couple of breaths in Adho Mukha Virasana, whichever works for you. Inhale that right leg up. So really press through that heel, really feel that length. And then you bend that leg through into between the hands. And then place the back heel down and come into Parsvottanasana. So you're feeling that length between the whole side body here. And to come out of it, you just pivot around that front thigh, bring that back heel up, hands down, and then take the right leg up into three-legged dog, and then down into downward facing. And then inhale the left leg up, bend through the knee, foot between the hands, place the back heel down, and then the forearm comes on the thigh to come into Parsvottanasana, finding that length from the right foot out the right fingertips. And then pivot back around, finding the hands, bring that left leg up, and either stay here or go into big toes together, knees wide. When we have the head down low, we're trying to quiet the front brain here. And then and inhale that right leg up, bending it through. And as you put the heels down, you're going to slowly straighten that front leg and then just extend the arms out into Utthita Trikonasana, extended triangle pose. And then to come out of it, you bend the front leg, pivot the back foot around, inhale the right leg up into three-legged, back down. Then inhale the left leg up, bending through the leg, through the core. Place the back heel down, and then as you extend through the legs, really extend through the arms as well into Utthita Trikonasana, extended triangle pose. And then slowly bend the leg, bring the hands down, and you can extend that leg up. Come into downward dog, and you can go into big toes together, knees wide, or you can stay in downward dog. And the next one you might want, a stool, a block, or a chair if you've got it nearby. I didn't invite you. And then come into downward facing dog. And then inhale the right leg up into three-legged, bend through, over the cat. And this time, you're going to stay on that front foot as you navigate lifting the back leg up. I also have the chair here that makes this pose easier. You can use a block or Ardha Chandrasana, half moon pose. And to come out of it, you bend the front leg, take the back foot long, bring the right leg up into three-legged dog, and then downward facing dog. And then inhale, left leg up, bending it through. And if you've got the chair or a block nearby, you can place the hand as you slowly bring up the back foot and straighten the front leg into Ardha Chandrasana, half moon pose. To come out of the pose, bend the front knee, take the back foot long, and bring three-legged dog. And you can stay here for a few breaths or go into big toes together. Knees wide. I know. Well, this is crazy old Gandalf taking up my yoga space. And then see how you go without any props, and then we can play with if you have any props. But bring the right leg up and then bend it in front. Now, if you have trouble with your hips, you can stay quite high. We'll do a pigeon variation, but you want to stay. If you need to, you can still keep the toes tucked and, come up quite high. If you've got flexibility, you can extend the back leg long and you're getting a bit of an outer hip stretch. Now, most of the time people lift too high on this hip, and you really want to lower that hip down. It's always been nice when I've been in workshops, when we work on poses like this, somebody's there to help us with our hips. So that's a start, but you can always, have blankets or blocks under your legs. And then bring that hands back and bring that right leg back up into downward facing dog. And then inhale that left leg up and bring it through. And if you have to stay here, and even if you have to keep the knee on the floor and keep the pelvis quite high, that's okay too. You're just working on bringing that right hip forward a little bit, and then see if you can, if you have more flexibility, you can extend that back leg, but keep those abdominals engaged. You don't want to just, go into the lower back here. And then bring the hands up and lift that leg up to three-legged. And we'll all come down and take a few breaths into big toes together, knees wide. So we'll go into some more variations with pigeon pose. And if you need to bring in cushions, blankets, or you can do it without props, but just try not to, if you have the hands down, do too much of this shoulder tension stuff. So we'll try it again, but we'll have a few breaths in Adho Mukha Virasana first. So inhale, coming up to all fours. Tuck the toes under into downward. And we'll take that right leg long. So you can really press through that heel. And then bend that through. And you're trying to bring the shin a little bit forward in this pose. You can, there's a couple of ways. You can really bring the foot down, or you can flex through the foot. But what you're trying to do is really level out the hips. So I can come up on my fingertips, or I could, if you need to come forward on your forearms, you can do that too. And you can keep the hips a little higher and play with that stretch. Or you can extend through the back leg and try to find that length. And then come back up on the hands, tuck the back foot under, bring that right leg into three-legged dog. And then inhale the left leg up, bending it through. And again, if you need to stay rather high, you can stay rather high, or you can lean forward so that the spine is long. So a couple of ways to do this without props. And then if you've got more flexibility, you can inch the back leg long. Just try to keep that right hip more forward. And then if you want to bring the arms down, you can come there. And then inhale, come up with the hands, tuck the back foot long, then bring that left leg up into three-legged. And again, bring the knees down into big toes together. Knees wide for a couple of breaths. And also, the good part about doing this in between is that if you're taking anything into the lower back or the hips, you can have a release here and create that length in your lower spine here. And then we'll try one last variation, see how you go. You do not have to do this variation, but we'll just see how you go. So come on into all fours. Tuck the toes under. And then inhale the right leg up into three-legged. Bend it through into wherever you want to be. So you can stay up higher if you need to and bring that back leg in. Or you can bring the forearms down. Or if you want to try a variation, bend the back leg. Yeah, of course I'm going to feel a cramp when I try to grab that back leg. And you can just hold that back leg. You know, that's just a start. You can just hold the foot here. And then you can release that back foot, or if you were staying higher or arms down, stay there. And then bring that back foot up, lift the right leg up into three-legged and downward dog. And then inhale the left leg up, bring it forward. And again, you can stay as high as you need to. You can bring the forearms down, or you can inch the back leg long. And if you'd like, you can try to grab the back foot. Then bring the hands back around. Lift the leg up. Bring the left leg up. Come into big toes together. Knees wide. A couple of breaths here. Actually, if you'd like to, bring the knees together and either do the fists or put the head down and come into child's pose with the forehead on the floor, arms next to you. So that's one variation. Or you stack the fists on each other and just put the head here. So we're just going into a little bit of rounded spine action here. And then you can slowly come up and find your way to whichever Shavasana you would like. Put the legs on the chair. You can do feet up the wall. You can have something under your sacrum to get the hips higher than the heart, or plain old Shavasana. Or if you've got a blanket and you want to put it under your knees, that's a nice way to do Shavasana as well. So, several ways. So you can choose what works for you. I'll just show you the chair way if you want to do the chair way. With the lower legs on the chair, and you can either put a cloth underneath or a cushion, and then this gives you a slight inversion. So So that's a pretty nice place to be. Whatever pose you have chosen, let yourself settle into that pose. And soften your breath. And just notice if you can feel perhaps the pulse in your body, so the blood flowing through your veins. Maybe you can hear your heartbeat, and maybe not. Maybe you just want to try to sense into these things. And then see if you can feel the big toe on your right foot, the toe next to it, the middle toe on your right foot, the fourth toe on your right foot, and then the pinky toe on your right foot. And see if you can release all 5 of those toes, and the foot and the ankle and the heel on the right side. And then see if you can feel the right toes, the right big toe, the toe next to the big toe, the middle toe, the fourth toe, and the pinky toe. See if you can feel all 5 toes on the left side, along with the foot and the ankle and the heel. Relax. And then notice by relaxing the feet and the toes, has that started to release the lower legs, knees, upper legs. And then notice your right hand, your thumb, your pointer finger, your middle finger, your ring finger, and your pinky finger. See if you can allow all 5 fingers and the hand and the wrist all relax. And then what about the left hand? See if you can feel the thumb, the pointer finger, the middle finger, the ring finger, and the pinky finger. And see if you can let the fingers and your hands and wrists relax. And then notice if by relaxing the hands, it helps relax the lower arms, elbows, forearms. then notice your upper chest and shoulder blades and see if that shoulder girdle can widen and soften. And the collarbone notches are softening. The throat softens. Back of the head lengthens and softens. Base of the head is softening. Your scalp is softening. Your forehead widens and softens. Space between the eyebrows widens and softens. Your eyeballs rest into your eye socket. Your cheeks soften, your jaw softens, and your chin is softening. And then slowly begin to deepen your breath. You can bring a little bit of movement into your hands and your feet. And if you do a big body stretch, make sure when you roll over to your side that you come up slowly from the pelvis, rolling up the spine so the head is last. So you don't disrupt any kind of new sensation you might have. And may the fourth be with you. And namaste.